So hello, I'm Olli from DONS or DONS, and we're here in Hamburg at Michi Lange's studio. He's to my right side, and we will show you how we're working on a remix, which we currently have to do today, and the deadline is today, so we have kind of really the urge to finish it, and we show you how we do the arrangements, how we're trying sounds, how we work on the build-up and the breakdown. And later on, we introduce the new single from DONS, DONS versus Jocelyn Brown, as Somebody Else's Guy, one of my old school favorite classics. And Michi will show you how he worked on the vocals, which are originally in 103 beats per minute, and he made it possible that we use them in 125 beats per minute, and it sounds fantastic. So we're just sitting here in the studio doing a new DONS remix for DJ Chucky, the Aftershock, not Aftermath, as I always mix it up. And so we already did a lot of tracks, used instruments, and we laid down some ideas. Now we're just starting to do the first basic rough arrangements, and we are still thinking about how we use the vocals. And that's actually where we're at for the moment, and we get busy right now.
Yeah, we are doing this mix in Live 8. That's the new live version that was coming out, I think, 2 weeks ago. And normally we work in Logic, but this time we wanted to check out what live brings for us.
But you've been using live?
Because I'm a big live fan, because I actually started using live for my radio shows, because I'm traveling a lot, and I actually feel really comfortable with live. Live 7 was great, and so far what I discovered at Live 8 is fantastic. Besides some little things where I'm saying working on a laptop or on a Mac with a pad to maximize and minimize the features. It's a little bit complicated because my eyes are not the best, so I'm finding it. But at the end, the features they have at Live 8, I love them. And so this is why we're now doing, this is the first remix with Live 8. And
so did you start this remix on a plane, or was it?
No, actually we just got it, and Michi got it. It was it's fantastic, so I got the update. And so that's actually from scratch here in the studio, and we just started 2 days ago.
Yeah, what we did is we laid down basic things like snare, vocals, the parts that we had, the original parts, and we have a basic arrangement. It's just 2 minutes 30 for this for now, and we have to build up the arrangement now. So I just play it for, I think, for now. So.
And one important thing, we try to do the remix a little bit more progressive and deeper, like the recent remixes we did, like the Jocelyn Brown track or Indo Are You Sleeping or Anaya, they were a little bit more on the housey side, and we used a lot of vocals, and this time it's anyway not a full vocal track, and we try to have it more deeper and filthy than the latest remixes.
So we're just having this DONS short chords building up, and you can see on this track, which are the chords, there's a reverb which is fading in right now, and also we have a little pumping compressor on it. Now the 303 kicks in. So one thing I can say, we have this original, but the same thing with vinyl. You don't want to scratch your vinyl, so this is really old. So we wanted to have something.
I'm begging him to use it.
Something similar.
It's untouchable.
So
as nobody's allowed to touch my records.
Yeah, we wanted to have something similar, and there's a good baseline simulation out there, which is the ABL
Audio Realism
ABL2, which is this
It's better
one.
than the first version. The first version was kind of a bit far away from the 303, but that one is pretty close. Not as the 100% feeling, no, but I think for the track it work very, very nice, and we're actually happy with that.
And how did you choose that? Why did you have the 303 sound straight away, or was it just trial and error?
If you ask for the typical DONS sound, it's I'm a kid of the 80s house, so I like the old analog sounds a lot. And I was actually a big fan of the acid scene, like when Chicago tracks, Pierre, Future, and all these tracks. I love it, and I've been using it a lot in the past 8 years. But the latest Dons remixes, we didn't use it. And I was like, okay, if we want to go a little bit deeper again, it's a perfect sound.
So this is kind of a return to the
Yeah, it's
original
going
Dons.
back to the
You
roots,
also
yeah.
use
But combine it with the chords which are played in this kind of steppy way, which is another significant sound part of the Dons sound, and with coming later to other little plugins we're using.
So and we used it on the second live remix, but with some effects on it, so it doesn't sound really like a 303. But if you listen to it, when I solo it, and I just put these knobs onto this cheap controller, so I can bring up the cutoff and the resonance, and it sounds really like it's like the original.
And I even can play it, because that one, no way, I can't play it. So, and I can play around with it. It's quite easy. It's like very handy to work with that.
So
how did you come up with that? Like the riff, was that just to kind of
yeah, the riff.
just stepping it in and seeing what fits?
We have different options. If you change the mode, you can see like how many lines we actually played.
Yeah, we have. It's just we program it in the step mode. Sometimes I play it in, because you can just play it. Hello. And it's like if you have the accent button turned to the right, then you have, if you have like the full velocity, then the sound is having accent, so it's like bing. It sounds different than the other. So yeah, and then we play different lines. I can play some lines that we programmed, like this one was one of the first.
That was the first one. I must say, I used to be a bass player when I was younger, so for me bass is the most essential part in a track, and every time, like everything I'm involved with, the bass lines are pretty heavy and pumping.
And you also hear this typical slide from the 303, and you can achieve this by just having one note longer. They overlap. So if you have the high note overlapping to the low note, you have like the slide effect.
Which brings it very close to the original, I must say.
So this is quite nice. So at any time,
for me the remix is ready here. Only kick drum and I'm happy. So
yeah, at any
but
time
then
you can
might
just
not like it.
Just put a this is like a kick drum, just filtered. And by the way, you may notice that we jam around at the now, and we have this arrangement running, but we can jam along. So what we do now is just playing as long as we want, and if we want to go back to the arrangement, then we just have to press this button, and then it goes back to this.
Which is like great, because for the moment we, to be honest, struggling a bit with the vocals, because we don't want to use too much, and it's easy to check what is fitting to the vocals besides of changing everything.
So I now just just to see if it fits good, add some effects. Really easy.
Problem is you're coming up with so many ideas, and what we actually do, we save them, so we're like, that is perfect, but maybe not for the mix, and then we have something else for the next remix or for the next one production. We say like, wait a minute, we had something good with the 303, put some own vocals on it, and then we create an own track, which is really great. It helps a lot playing and working in this mode. I like it better, the part before I love.
The part before? Oh. What's this? Yeah, so that's the 303 simulation we really like.
So you're using the Ableton compressors and built-in Ableton plugins there. Is that final or just for ideas?
You know, the Ableton effects, they sound really good actually. We have some other good sounding effects, which are the Waves
for master
plugins. We have the Platinum collection, and I think last week or 2 weeks ago, Waves, they added some new effects. It's a hybrid compressor. It's called the H compressor,
which looks really nice.
Looks nice and sounds really nice. So obviously, and I put it on this snare. It's just a snare sample, but
it's like the splashing noise a bit. Which is
this is the compressor, the new one. So what's different to most other compressors? It also has a sidechain. You can put a kick on it or something else. And if you don't want to use it with a sidechain, it has like the release having BPM. So you can select really like 2 bars, and you can have like the release time is 1/8, so it's like it's you don't have to have a like a trigger kick or something to have it compressing. But today we use it just for the snare, and I have just a snare here. It's splashing okay, but if you switch it on, you see the level is not really changing, but it's really much louder and fuller.
So a lot of body and power, which is really significant.
Yeah. So, and you hear you have a switch. You can have it fully digital or sounding a little bit analog. So I don't know if it's necessary, but
try the analog mode. Then we have it on.
Yeah, we have it like fully analog now. So, and we have an analog synth here, which we use later and show some other cool things on Ableton Live. So this is just a snare. So yeah, that is another plugin that we use. It's the Waves H comp. So yes, what else do we have?
Well, we have this little one which like got underestimated at the beginning, the Camel Fat, which is like became a little bit the trademark of the Don sound, because we used it like in the Everywhere remix from John Dahlbeck, and as well at Blink, and actually by coincidence. We didn't even plan it. It was kind of new, and we simply played around, and we got the lead sound from the Everywhere track, and we kept it. We put it on the track on the channel, and suddenly we were like, wow, that is amazing. And this is why we constantly still use it. Maybe not that obvious, but on some sound parts or some synths, it's still on, and it's kind of a little basic background of what we're using.
So how do you find new plugins and things? Do you get recommendations of other
Actually, I'm hoping that Michi finds them, because like I'm traveling a lot. I'm reading kind of like, or I'm calling, said like, have you heard of this new plugin? Another DJ told me. So it's like a lot of talking when you touring around, and they're like, oh, I use that, like the strobe synth from Chris when he was like, everybody's like, oh, what, we need that. So like this, you are like getting some information. Then of course reading the right magazines, that is of course very helpful and beneficial, and then simply testing. And a lot of things actually really happens in playing around. If you have enough time and the deadlines are not like, oh, we need it tomorrow, which like most of the labels are like, we want a remix, but please can you deliver it in 2 days, which is still a common thing. We don't do it at all anymore. So I'm like, if I don't have at least a planning time for like 3-4 weeks, which is minimum, we're not accepting any remixes anymore. Because like it sometimes really happens that you're not happy with the result, and we did remixes, we were ready, we mastered them, and we were like, nah, that's not good. And we started from scratch, and we want to have the freedom and the liberty to do that whenever we want to do. And this is why we're not big fans of like tight deadlines. And because the time is simply missing and simply trying things, which I think is one of the most essential things in music. Not like sitting there, I want to do this, this, and this, because that, for me, it's a lack of creativity. If the time is too much pressuring you. And as I said, we discovered the camel fat in simply playing around. It was not planned, it simply happened. And if you see what the impact of the John Dahlberg remix like for Everywhere was, like it really pushed the name Dons big time. After Pump Up the Jam, that was a perfect timing. And so still it's like a reminiscence to like 2 years ago, we still use it, we still like it.
Yeah, what we're talking about is this thing, and we just can quick
calls it the Dons shopper.
Yeah, it's just so you can switch it on and
it creates this nice filthy atmosphere, which I again love.
The typical 60s shopping, dirty sound. And this is also the 303. If just this sound, but if you put this plugin on it.
I'm always happy when I hear it. I love it. It's like, it's really dirty and punching.
Oh, this is too much.
A bit.
This is a little bit too much going on right now.
But for me, it's very important. Like when I'm sitting here,
so we switch this out.
Must have the imagination that I can play it in my sets. If I'm doing a track and I'm like, oh, I won't play it, it's not a good track for me or for us at the end. And so if I'm like, yes, it's pumping, I love the energy, it's always a good sign.
We have the Zebra. This is also a really nice synth that we're using. The new version is cool because you can have a little bit larger view of it. So there you can see it's totally modular, so you can choose which module you want to add to your sound, and it's really cool. You can have up to 4 oscillators, noise, 4 filters, and you can have them in a row or parallel or something. So that's it sounds really really thick just with this basic setup. And if I play it solo, and I just put the cutoff on this controller, so I can filter this up. You can see the cutoff is moving there. And have the release. So this is quite thick sounding. So I combined with the other synth we have. This is a live own analog synth, which is also quite new. It's from Live 7, I guess. Mm-hmm. So there we have different synths stacked. So this is cool. This is for building up, filtering up.
generating a nice warm feeling, and it's just like makes it full-bodied and makes the sound really, really big. So even if you listen to it loud, the development when you play it in a club is like that big.
So also, you may notice we are now more. We have more chords now for different chords. So we just could add some vocals, which I could switch on. So this is, or this one.
I like the reduced one very much.
But this is the loop that we have got from. This is the original parts that we have got. So what we're gonna do now, what is the cool feature on Live 8 is that you can chop tracks, audio tracks, like recycling them. They can chop them up into their parts and lay them out on the keyboard without doing anything. It's just automatic. You just have a vocal track. And we want to chop this 2 bars on a new track. So you just have to press right click, slice on a new MIDI track, say OK, and what it does now, it recognizes the transients of the sample and places all the transients, which are these little marks here that you can see here, and every time there's a mark, it makes a new sample. So and now you have a MIDI track where you have just these slices, and you can play them on the keyboard. And then you can play around with it. So sometimes we like to start a mix just with a vocal loop. So I just play it in. This is not really good, so I shorten it. I think it's this. So, not very spectacular, but it's cool that you can play around with vocals. And what you also can do, because Live places the samples in this. This is called a drum rack. So you have on every button, on every keyboard, you have a sampler, and so you can manipulate every single slice different. So you can take this slice and you put a
ping pong delay.
Put a ping pong delay on it. Just place it on the slice, and you have a ping pong delay on it. And the other slices stay unaffected.
Which is like really good because it's very, very fast. Especially when you travel, you can really do it easy on a laptop. You don't need a big setup.
Yeah.
It's like really easy. Like even if you do mixes or have vocal tracks, it's fast.
Yeah.
And it's very easy to do compared to other programs.
So we have this. This is quite nice. We want to have it a little bit faster. Like this effect. Oops. And on the other slice, this one, which is this, we want to have another effect, we take a reverb. So we place the reverb just on the slice. So we and this is so. With this technique, you can do very different, very many different variations of one thing. So and also you have these controls here, which is start, loop length, loop compress, which control the loop of each sample together. So if I just play around with these controls, you can do also very cool effects. So yeah, we just play around with it and we jam. This is nice.
And again, sometimes you have really crazy effects, and it makes the sound, again, sound is big due to the effects on it, which is always important to have a bigger sound. Like sometimes paneling effects from the left to right, take one vocal effect on the left side and have another one on the right side, high mid frequencies, and actually the whole track is not louder, but it appears way more powerful than having everything focused.
How do you begin arranging in Ableton? Because there's so many options with this view. You can just play forever and ever.
There are many options. One option is that you do kind of a pre-arrange in this session view. So you have these scene buttons where you can start everything. When you press play here, everything that is in one row starts playing. So for example, sorry, I have to go to a okay. So now everything which is in this row is playing. I can, so that's a kind of new to us. We can pre-arrange things in these rows. This is one thing.
Which is really good, because sometimes you listen to different like arrangements you did, and then you say like, oh well, that part is maybe not the main part, but we can add it to maybe at the end or as an intro, or like kind of a C part in the middle. And that this is very easy to create new ideas in arrangements, because like the arrangement itself is one of the basic things still in a track. You can have very good parts, if you don't arrange them good, they're useless.
Yeah.
So how do you work together on the arrangement? I mean, you were saying that you're particularly good at arrangements. Do you get hands-on, or do you have ideas?
No, we actually like listening to the tracks and saying like, okay, that part, like when we do in the session mode, we like, okay, that is what I like. And then we start building.
We start from there.
Start really from there and say like, after 1 minute 30, we need a first little breakdown, and I like this part. And even in this mode, we are like, okay, do some filter movements, or maybe now the vocals, which we're still not sure how we use them. Maybe we can even include them there. It's a lot of trying, but I always like when I'm listening to it, like we will see when we start doing it.
Do you ever finish a track and then you maybe play it out, and then go?
No, we actually do. That's the good thing about like when you have like quite a busy schedule of playing. Like I'm usually testing all the mixes in my sets, and as I said, like we're not doing anything where I'm like, oh, I wouldn't play that. So everything we do must be suitable for the sets I'm playing, for the radio shows I'm doing. And then sometimes you're like, okay, the kick drum still was a little bit too big, or the bass line was not, or actually we had a problem, the vocal kicks in too early, and then we're losing kind of tension at the end because we have nothing to add on to make the track any stronger. which is a thing, because like when we started remixing, some of the remixes were like literally 10, 11, 12 minutes. And what I really discovered, it's like a little self-critics, like it was very hard for, I think, the average DJ to mix out. It was like one of the biggest feedbacks we received, like via MySpace or even in clubs, like, oh, we love the sound, it's so big, but I have a problem like to mix out of the Bob Sinclair remix what I want, because this is very hard to get out of the track. Because like this is always something is happening, there are harmonies, there are vocals, and then if you start with a simple other track, it's whether sounds horrible, or you must be really, really creative to do so. So that is really, if you want to have the support, not by the top elite of DJs, but like all the DJs around, and they still have a big impact. If all the clubs all over the world play you, even the commercial clubs, you have a strong record. And of course we try to adjust to the situation. So ever since that, since like maybe a year ago, we changed that a bit. So the arrangements are a little bit shorter, not that long, and we try really to be a little bit more DJ friendly, like having a mix in and a mix out part, because like even we did remixes where we had like only filtered loops and vocals. And the feedback really was, we love it, but we can't play it because, and even some people are like frankly honest, they're like, I can't mix it, so I can't play it. It really happens, which
Does that frustrate you though?
No, it's not frustrating. It's like, I can mix it, so I'm not frustrated by other people saying they can't. But of course, it's nicer if people can. It's not, we don't want to please everybody, it's still like, we must like it. And we decide the intro is like filtered loops, which are very hard to hear in a club. If you are like in a big club like Pasha London, the sound from the dance floor is so loud and you really have to crank up your headphones very, very loud. And if you don't have an impact with a kick drum or like a sharp hi-hat, it's really hard to hear. So, and it's a lot of feeling. And then if you work with the filtered loops, or a lot of people really have problems to mix vocals because they don't find the starting point, or if they start offbeat, they're like, or like 4N, and they're like, oh my God, and then they mix and they're like, oh wow, now it's like da-doom, sneakers in the dryer, not working. So that's like, this is really a little bit adjusted from the arrangement, like to make it, because a lot of other DJs, even known DJs, they send us edits. Oh look, we did a 7-minute version out of your 11 minutes remix. Mm-hmm. And I think you should be always open for that, for this kind of, like I said, like productive criticism, critics.
So talk us through what's going on with this arrangement so far, what you think needs to happen or needs changing, or...
Yeah, basically where we are now, I don't know.
We are at the point that we have a lot of great parts, and now we're trying to isolate the best ones, put them together. Hopefully they're all fitting. If not, we always have to adjust a little bit and change stuff. And then we, of course, like, because as I said, if you have a straight intro like with a kick drum and an outro with a kick drum, reducing the bass, cutting off tracks or shutting down tracks, that's easy. So that is nothing which is amazing, but it's like hard to connect different parts. We have a very nice piano riff, which we want to use. On top we have the 303 and the chords and the vocals. So we have 4 major parts in this song, and we're now trying to put together. And maybe it's nice to see how we trying this and how we finally will be successful in doing it, that everybody's happy at the end with the track. So we work on the breakdown.
We work on the break. We have a build up until.
Maybe let's play it to get into the track.
I just play it.
And that's amazing. I really got feedback on remixes like that, when they start like that people are really complaining, saying, can't you start with a straight kick? Like, yeah, it's funny. And that is not only happening 1 or 2 times, it happens many times.
Normally there's a build-up with full beats, and the breakdown is at 1 minute. And we try to do it sometimes the other way around. We start with a high cut, with a low cut on the kick, and then we filter the kick in, and at 1 minute the kick drum is kicks in.
It's very good for the tension, because like you have already atmosphere, and now when the kick drum kicks in, it's like a really like having quite a big impact. So it's reduced, but still the power, we keep the power level, and like sometimes even in DJ sets or back in the days, we did it in like putting the first part a little bit more quiet, change the volume level to have this impact, but actually you can do it like really when you use the right frequencies and mix it right, you have the still same sound without lowering the basic volume.
So maybe this is where it's all stuff. What you hear now, there's not really, it has to smash when it starts, when the beat starts. This is not the case at the moment. We will later add some effects and some crashes, some noises, and but we just do the rare structure of the track now. So this is a build-up, like 16 bars, and no, it's not 16 bars. It's, I don't know. So this is a build-up, and it all leads into a breakdown, which we don't really yet have. So it's supposed to filter up now. And this is where we want to go now. So we just decided to try out some kind of a pad. And
so the basic idea is not to bring it back. Of course, the breakdown, quiet, silence. People are like getting excited using pads now to build up the atmosphere, and then we want to include the 303 or the audio realism bass line to start from the when it kicks back in, and then including the vocals, because then there must be a second break with the piano.
So
maybe it's even good if you play like the piano line we have, that you get an idea of what we try to put together. This is piano, man.
This is the Albino. It's great for pads and ambient sounding things, but it's
especially this one.
Yeah, we just have to find a cool pad. Filter it down a little bit. We take this for now.
Yeah.
Maybe we put a little pumping effect again on this one. Just take the compressor. It's the live own compressor. Just click on this
sidechain it and
and put a sidechain on it. We have a trigger kick. This is running the whole track. It's just a kick that is without an output. It's muted and it just goes into this compressor thing. So just want to have it a little bit. So, and now we can add some chords. This is the zebra. These both. So, 22 and Volga. We can add them here, for example. Let's see how it sounds. For my taste, the for my taste, the pad is not really fitting with
Not really.
with the tracks. So we just have to find
The basic
something
one we
else.
had this morning was not that bad.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That was
Because what is really nice in productions, if you have kind of opposite things, we have the breakdown, but it's very nice, and the idea now is like after the breakdown we want to have it really again back to the underground feel with the 303 and make it really filthy, that you have a contrast between each part, which is common thing nowadays. A lot of things are like you have big build-ups, and after the breakdown is finished and it leads you to the main part again, the main part is actually empty. But due to the sound and to the mix down and later on the mastering, you don't feel that it's gonna empty because it's like really pumping, which a lot of people really don't do. They have massive build-ups, and after the build-up it's like, and then you're dropping into a hole and you have no feeling. Especially you're talking about people wanna dance, which is like it's an essential mistake. If I get sent demos, I'm like, the ideas are basically good, but if they can't do like a fat sound at the end of the breakdown, you ruin the whole track. Which is like, that sometimes it's only a little part, like putting off a kick drum, like checking the compression, that it's not like pulling down everything, that you have more impact. And so this is what we're trying to do with the 303, and then still musically and from the harmonies it must fit. And with the vocals, which are still giving me grief.
So yeah, the basic idea, what I would like would be...
I would love to hear the 303 now.
Yeah, we kick in. That would be my idea now. We build up with the chords, have these steps coming in, have a little bit of vocal coming in, build it up, and then do another breakdown with just again with this 303 thing.
And an idea could be even like, because like as it is a remix and we need something from the original and we only use the vocals, to maybe even start to have some little vocal parts coming in already prior to the breakdown, which we're gonna try later on.
That would be an example for a build-up.
And of course no loops.
No, yeah, of course, without any loops kicking in. So, and then
if you like slowly filter in the 303, the audio realism, like to the climax of the breakdown, and then break it together, like one bar off, maybe like one kick drum off, and then you start with a full 303 line. You have a very we hopefully have a very strong impact. And
your drums and stuff, your drums here are quite stripped back. Is that something you normally do?
yeah,
Like just kick, snare, hat, no percussion or
we do it.
Oh, sometimes we have a
sometimes yes, but
most of the time we have loops
but
around.
if you see, like, we're using a lot of different instruments plugins, and we don't want to have it too overloaded, because then it's going to be hard to mix down, and it's not like a clear, crisp, powerful sound. Because if you overload a track with too many loops and too many sounds, at one point you have to decide what you want to do.
Is that something you're hearing in a lot of demos?
Yeah,
Too
a
many
lot.
layers?
They are like, there's full of percussion. It's making the track hectic, and you're losing focus. And of course, the more instruments actually you use, the harder it will be to have a very hard sound, because you have to adjust to all the different harmonies and there's frequencies. And then of course at one point, like, you are like, okay, that sound is like really disturbing the bass frequencies, at least the higher bass frequencies, and this loop is much too low, so you have to cut off the low frequencies. And then you again have a problem with the synth, because you have too many mid frequencies, and that's why at the end we sometimes even are like, okay, that's all perfect, but we're gonna kick out that plugin and we don't use this loop, and reduce at the end, because like the more you reduce, the more space is for frequencies and for the sound itself.
So what I do now is just what I want to write the automation for all these effects going on. I just want to write it quick and draw it quick into this build-up. So, which I have 3 main effects. I have on send 1 is a ping pong delay. On send B is a long reverb, and on C is like a what is it? It's a grain delay. So, and we use this sometimes just to build up the whole thing. So, and you have, when you see here, you have these 3 little,
which are really little
things,
like
and there you can bring up the effects in this arrange view. So
I prefer controller because it's like,
yeah, if you don't have
it's like actually my eyes, I can't read it, so it's like,
so as you can see, I just wrote some automation, and now I just want to.
So what was the shortcut you pressed there?
Shift.
No, this is when you draw some automation and you have so many breakpoints. It's normally so when you want to move this one, you cannot move it more than this to the left or more than this to the right. So if you want to overwrite all the others, you have to just press Shift,
which is really great,
and then you can
because you couldn't do
draw
it with
it
the last
as
version
long as you want. And in Logic, it's always like this. You don't have any limitations, but I like these limitations because sometimes you want to have it just finish on a bar and on a
especially
breakdown.
after the breakdown when it kicks back in with the main
and so
part.
you have these really really good cuts. So because it doesn't get more than this to the
really
right,
like.
so this is quite good. So now we can. That was a shortcut from Logic. If you want to see everything, but now here you have to press and draw up. So it's sometimes a little bit confusing if you work with those, but yeah, as the more you get into it, the more you like this one.
And it looks like from now on we only work with 8 and 8.
Let's see.
I'm praying.
It crashed 2 times today, so I don't know.
There will be updates.
You can see I have to bring the cutoff also up. So this is the cutoff curve. So we just want to have it like this, and here we just want to get down again, and also we want to have the release time. We want to get this one up. Where is it? 1 second.
And I already feel that we have to prolong the breakdown, 8 bars. Pretty certain about it.
Why do you say that?
Because like from the feeling now I feel like it's coming, but if you want to include the 303, there's not enough space to build it up. So it's gonna be too short, and you need some kind of introduction time that something else is happening. You hear the low frequencies like wong, wong, wong getting in to open it, and that's too short. I'm very certain about that already.
So that was just, I recorded something, and now this is the release data, so I just drag it a little bit more up.
That is so easy. Even I can do that.
Drag breakpoint here. So, like this. And also, I think I misplayed a little bit. This one. There was some. This one. No, this is too late. So I just fix it here. Just select all and get the velocities right now. Okay. Now I'm not really satisfied right now.
What are you not satisfied about? The sound?
That was just
The sound, yeah, it's too. It has to get more decay here.
It's a bit static now. It's like tick, tick, dun.
I want to have it. Okay, so now we need one cutoff. This is too high.
It's too harsh to work.
Yeah, it was too hard. Huh?
A little bit too static, so maybe we have to rechange the velocity again to have like different velocities on each note. Then it's a little bit more vivid, not that static. But we can do that later because we first of all want to fit in the 303 or the audio realism, because then I feel so much home when I was very young.
Now it's building up as we like to have it.
And here at that part I would start building up the 303 sound and what would be another idea was it's like kind of not a typical, but we do it many times in breakdowns, or after a breakdown we break it down completely, and at this part we only have the 303 standing. So it's another relaxation part a little bit, and then kick back in after 8 bars. We actually did this in a lot of remixes, and it works great.
So this is like we want to have it. Yeah, I don't know, just
Shri oh Shri.
I think I fade out the kick, maybe. I don't know. I'm not sure yet. We listen to it. This one we can fade in, also not a problem. Just, oh, this was wrong. Speaker, no, we want to have mixer, the track volume. Okay, bring this up a little bit. Also to the end, more effect. This. Okay, let's try it. now, and this.
So it's the first rough basic idea of the breakdown.
Yeah.
Then I have several options now that you really start building up the 303 while you're building up in the breakdown, and then have it breaking together again before the main part kicks in with the 303, maybe even adding the vocals. Or you simply continue building up and then have a full impact after another 8 bars. And this is what we're gonna try. Yeah, like I would try first to build up the 303 in here.
Yeah, I just want to cut the reverb at the time the 303 kicks in.
Or what could even work, like only have the vocal standing, feeling that I'm feeling, and then build in the 303 on this part, which actually just popped up on my mind, and I think that might be a very good option. Simply keep the vocal. Keep the vocal after the breakdown, just only without anything.
No problem.
And then like filter in and like build in and open the oscillators from the 303 and build it up. Because like this vocal I really love because it's got this French appeal, like from like the old Daft Punk Roulette label, and this is actually
also
a vocal sample which can continue running forever. I thought for the moment I really like that. But maybe trying now to have the bass line not starting from 1. So maybe only having the vocal to get this quiet part, because I think the vocal has a great atmosphere, a great vibe. And then like really starting building up the 303. It's gonna be a very long break, but why not?